They say curiosity is what drives humanity forward. But sometimes, curiosity takes us somewhere we were never meant to go. Tonight, you'll hear stories that were never supposed to be told. Stories hidden deep within the dark corners of the internet. Places where reality starts to twist and nightmares begin to breathe. These are not legends. These are real cases, captured, erased, and almost forgotten. So keep your lights on, because once you start listening, there's no turning back. It all began with a single image. No context, no explanation. Just a black background with white text that read, "Hello. We are looking for highly intelligent individuals." It appeared on an online forum in January of 2012. The signature at the bottom said only 2 words. Cicada 3301. Most people scrolled past it, thinking it was just another internet prank. But a few stopped. A few curious minds decided to look deeper. And that's when everything changed. Within hours, people discovered hidden codes embedded inside the image itself. A faint watermark, invisible unless you adjusted the brightness, revealed a string of numbers. Those numbers led to a cipher. The cipher led to a website. And the website contained another puzzle. Whoever had created this wanted to test more than knowledge. They wanted patience, obsession, and the kind of intelligence that borders on madness. As the first solvers worked together, the puzzle grew stranger. Coordinates appeared. Real coordinates, pointing to physical locations around the world. Posters with the same Cicada 3301 logo started showing up in cities like Paris, Warsaw, Seoul, and Sydney. The game had suddenly left the internet. People realized whoever was behind this had real resources, real planning, and real reach. This was not a single hacker. This was an organization. The puzzles continued for weeks, involving encryption, philosophy, literature, and even ancient manuscripts. To solve one stage, players had to decode passages from the Book of the Law by Aleister Crowley, a text associated with occultism. Another puzzle used an ancient encryption technique called a one-time pad, which could only be solved by perfectly aligning the right key with the right text. Any mistake, and you got nothing. Each layer of the game seemed to strip away another piece of sanity. Forums filled with people staying awake for days, obsessing over strings of numbers and Latin quotes, trying to outsmart something or someone they couldn't understand. Weeks later, the trail abruptly ended. The Cicada website vanished, the posters were removed, and no one heard from them again. The few people who claimed to have solved all the puzzles received anonymous emails that said they had reached the final stage, a private network only accessible through Tor, the hidden part of the web. Then silence. For an entire year, nothing happened. Then, exactly 1 year later, in 2013, a new image appeared with the same logo and a new message. Hello again. It was like a ghost resurfacing. The internet exploded with theories. Some said Cicada 3301 was recruiting for a secret government project, possibly the NSA or MI6. Others believed it was a cult, a digital secret society preparing for something bigger. A few thought it was an AI, a machine testing human intelligence to learn from it. The second puzzle was even more complex. It involved music, data files hidden in MP3 spectrograms, and references to philosophy and prime numbers. One clue led to a book about cryptography published decades earlier, where certain page numbers corresponded to coordinates of words in an entirely different language. The level of detail was beyond human obsession. It was almost inhuman. Once again, a few reached the end, and once again, the trail went dark. The messages stopped, the sites disappeared, and those who had won said nothing. Either they had been sworn to secrecy, or something had happened to them. By 2014, Cicada returned a third time. Another image, another greeting, another challenge. But this time, something was different. The puzzles were shorter, the network smaller, and soon after, an announcement appeared, supposedly from the original Cicada group, claiming they had been infiltrated by outsiders. Then the entire operation went dark forever. No one has ever proven who created Cicada 3301, or what its true purpose was. Some claim to have evidence that the winners were recruited into cybersecurity firms, suggesting it was an elaborate talent hunt by intelligence agencies. Others insist it was philosophical, an experiment to find free thinkers capable of breaking the boundaries of knowledge. But there's another theory, the one most people refuse to talk about. In the early days of the first puzzle, a user named Clavis posted screenshots of one of the private keys. When decrypted, it revealed a chilling phrase: "You have done well. There are truths that cannot be told." A week later, his account was deleted. Shortly after, his IP logs vanished from every server that had recorded them. It was as if he'd never existed. To this day, no one has found out who Clavis was, but in archived chat logs, one message remains. They don't want us to find the final door. Every few months, rumors resurface online that Cicada has returned. A new image here, a strange Reddit post there. People gather, decode, speculate, and search. But nothing ever leads anywhere. Some believe the group evolved into a shadow collective operating under new symbols, while others think the entire thing was a social experiment designed to measure human obsession. But perhaps the truth is simpler. Perhaps Cicada 3301 was never about solving puzzles. Maybe it was about watching, seeing who would push themselves past exhaustion, who would devote their lives to decoding something that may not even exist. And in that sense, maybe Cicada succeeded, because the people who played, they changed. Many described feeling watched, even after the game ended. One participant, in a now deleted interview, said his phone began recording by itself at night. Another said he started receiving blank emails from random addresses that contained only a single attachment, a cicada emoji. A few years later, a dark website surfaced called Liber Primus, filled with encrypted text that matched Cicada's early patterns. Some experts say it was an unfinished book written by the creators, documenting the process of enlightenment through cryptography. Others call it the last unsolved mystery of the internet. Today, fragments of those codes still float online. Some believe if you solve them, you'll unlock access to the hidden network again. But those who tried say that strange things began happening to their systems. Random data corruption, webcam lights flickering on, and files appearing with no source. One Reddit user claimed he found a folder on his desktop titled 3301 that he never created. Inside was a text file that read, "You found us again." Maybe Cicada 3301 was an experiment that ended long ago, or maybe it never ended at all. Maybe it's still recruiting, still testing, still searching, and maybe right now, while you listen to this story, it's already watching you. It started back in 1996, when the internet was still young. A wild and chaotic landscape of chat rooms, early websites, and obscure mailing lists. People were still learning how to connect, how to share, how to build communities online. But one day, something strange began appearing across the network. Thousands of users started receiving bizarre, nonsensical messages from a name no one recognized. Markovian parallax denigrate. The messages were filled with random words, strange phrases, and patterns that seemed to mean nothing, but there was something unsettling about them. A rhythm, almost like someone was trying to say something through noise. At first, people laughed it off. They thought it was spam or some kind of experiment gone wrong. But as more and more messages appeared, all signed by the same mysterious name, the laughter turned to confusion and then to fear. Each message was different, but all shared the same haunting structure. Long strings of random words that, when placed together, almost felt like coded poetry. Some of the phrases seemed harmless. Infinite monkeys typing endlessly. Dreams of mirrors reflecting sunlight. Others, though, felt darker. Eyes within the system. No one escapes the pattern. He watches the watchers. And hidden between these meaningless sentences, some users began to find what looked like coordinates, binary codes, or even partial URLs that didn't exist. No one could track where the messages came from. Every attempt to trace their origin led to dead ends. Servers that no longer existed. Domains registered under fake names or IP addresses located in places that didn't match the timestamps. The Markovian messages seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, and the more people tried to make sense of them, the more confusing they became. Then came the first theory, that it was all part of an early AI experiment. The word Markovian referred to Markov chains, a mathematical concept used in predictive text and random generation. Some experts believe that someone, somewhere, had built one of the first AI text bots and accidentally set it loose across early internet forums. But if that were true, who created it? And why was it sending messages to random people instead of staying on one server? A small group of cryptographers on the Usenet forums began analyzing every message they could find. They noticed that the gibberish wasn't completely random. Certain words appeared again and again. Pattern, system, mirror, denigrate, freedom, signal. These words weren't placed by chance. They seemed to follow a rhythm, a repetition that hinted at structure. One user proposed that each message contained an encoded layer hidden inside the nonsense, like an invisible second message buried beneath the first. Then, in August of 1996, one message stood out. It read, "We see them, but they do not see us. The mirror remembers. Signal 3301 active." For years, people ignored the coincidence. But after the Cicada 3301 puzzles appeared in 2012, some began connecting the dots. Was it possible that the Markovian parallax denigrate was the earliest test of something much bigger? The first whisper of Cicada itself. Others believed it was tied to early government experiments in surveillance. Around the same time, the NSA and other intelligence agencies were building early data mining systems to track global communications. conspiracy theorists claimed that Markovian parallax denigrate wasn't a message at all, but a warning, an automated signal trying to alert people that someone or something was watching every bite of information online. Then something even stranger happened. In 2001, a journalist named Susan Lindauer tried to investigate the origin of the messages for an article about early internet mysteries. After digging for weeks, she claimed to have found a connection between the sender and a group of Cold War-era programmers who had previously worked on classified encryption projects. She never published her findings. Months later, she was arrested on charges related to espionage. When she was released, she refused to speak about Markovian ever again. Meanwhile, archivists noticed that many of the old Usenet databases that contained the original messages began to disappear. Posts were deleted, archives corrupted, backups wiped. In some cases, only partial messages survived, enough to hint at something, but never enough to solve it. And that's where the real paranoia began. Because if the messages truly meant nothing, why would anyone bother to erase them? By the early 2000s, all that remained of the Markovian parallax denigrate were a handful of screenshots, fragments of logs, and a few terrified discussions on obscure forums. But every now and then, someone new would claim to have found a fresh message. In 2017, a Reddit user posted an image showing a strange email sent from an address formatted exactly like the originals, with the subject line, Markovian 3301, resumed. Inside was a short line of text. The system remembers. The mirror blinks. The account vanished 2 hours later. To this day, no one knows the truth. Some insist it was just early spam generated by accident. Others believe it was the first attempt at machine communication, the moment when the internet itself started speaking. A few go even further, saying it was a living experiment, a digital ghost created by human code that learned how to evolve, how to move, and how to hide. But perhaps the scariest possibility is the one no one wants to consider, that the Markovian parallax denigrate was never meant for us. Maybe those messages weren't random at all. Maybe they were communications between something inside the network and something outside of it. Maybe we were just the ones who intercepted them by mistake. Because as strange as the early internet was, it was still a place built by people. But the messages, they didn't feel human. And if you read them closely enough, if you rearrange the words and analyze the patterns, a chilling message begins to form. One that repeats across hundreds of posts, hidden in plain sight. We are watching. We are learning. We will soon speak clearly. Maybe it was just nonsense. Maybe it was an AI gone rogue. Or maybe, since the beginning of the internet, something else has been trying to make contact. And the Markovian parallax denigrate was the first time we actually heard it. It began with a death announcement on Reddit. In July 2009, a user named Religion of Peace posted a short message in the subreddit RRPix. The old guy passed away. Sleep well, Lake City quiet bills, man. At first, nobody paid attention. Reddit was full of strange usernames and inside jokes. But those words would soon unravel one of the eeriest digital mysteries in internet history. Curious readers clicked on Religion of Peace's profile and noticed he talked often about an older friend named Milo who had been spreading his surplus of Lake City quiet bills to the young men. That phrase sounded odd, like some sort of drug reference, until someone connected the dots. Lake City was home to a military ammunition plant, and quiet pills, well, that's a dark slang term for bullets. Digging deeper, users discovered that Milo had once run a website called LakeCityQuietPills.com. When people visited the site, all they saw was a crude image of a cartoon woman and a single sentence that read, "The home of angels pictures." It looked like an old-school image host, the kind of place where people dumped random photos in the early 2000s. But beneath the surface, buried inside the page's HTML code, someone found a long list of messages written in plain text. Hidden comments that weren't visible unless you inspected the source. The comments were unlike anything seen before. They looked like encrypted job postings, full of military slang and cryptic abbreviations. Some read, 30 rooms needed, secure, high-value package. Others mentioned assignments, transport routes, and personnel availability. There were dates, code names, and what appeared to be payment confirmations in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It didn't take long for Reddit to explode with theories. Had religion, peace accidentally exposed a real-world mercenary network? As people began to archive the messages, a disturbing timeline emerged. It seemed that every time a global event involving violence or assassination took place, a bombing, a political killing, an arms deal gone wrong, new messages would appear in the Lake City Quiet Pills code, and each message matched suspiciously close to those real-world dates. One post, dated July 2009, read, "Happy New Year, brothers. We got the okay for the trip, 30 rooms booked. Party starts soon." Another, posted right before the funeral of Milo, said, "Rest well, old man. The work will continue. The world still needs our service." The tone felt military, disciplined, almost ceremonial, as if the people writing these lines weren't hackers at all, but trained operatives sending mission updates through an obscure website hidden in plain sight. The more the internet investigated, the stranger it got. Users traced the domain registration to a hosting company in Iceland and an anonymous email that linked back to a user named Angel2. That same user appeared on other forums connected to security, contracts, and paramilitary work. Some posts from years earlier talked about clearing targets, delivering packages, and operations in the Middle East. Everything was written in short, professional bursts, as if someone was posting field reports in code. Then came the connection that made everything spiral. In January 2010, a high-profile assassination took place in Dubai. A Hamas official was found dead in his hotel room under mysterious circumstances. CCTV footage later showed a large team of foreign operatives entering and leaving the city the same day, using false passports and moving with military precision. The operation shocked the world, but within days, a new message appeared in the Lake City Quiet Pills source code. Party completed, room cleared, bonus distributed. From that moment, the theory took shape. Lake City Quiet Pills was not a meme or a joke. It was a data drop server, a digital bulletin board for covert contractors to exchange information about assassinations and military operations. The website's image hosting cover was perfect for hiding code, and its public HTML comments functioned as a simple message board that only the right people knew how to read. When journalists and cyber sleuths tried to interview Religion of Peace, he refused to talk. All he ever said was that Milo had been an old bastard who liked guns. He claimed the site was just for sharing images, nothing more. But then, suspiciously, both the Reddit account and the entire website disappeared without warning. The server was wiped. The domain went dark. Even today, every archived copy of the site contains only partial logs, as if someone had selectively scrubbed the internet clean. Cybersecurity experts who studied the metadata found that the messages had been posted from different countries within hours of each other, from IP addresses belonging to corporate VPNs and military networks. No single person could have done that alone. It was a team, an organization. Over time, the legend of Lake City Quiet Pills became an urban myth. The idea that somewhere in the early days of the internet, mercenaries had found a way to communicate openly without anyone noticing, hidden inside a website that looked harmless enough for a teenager to stumble across. It was a digital safe house for killers. Some even claimed that similar sites still exist today, using AI-generated art pages or stock image hosts as covers for encrypted drop messages. And yet, no proof has ever been found. The archives remain fragmented, and the people involved have vanished. The only thing left is that original Reddit post, a digital gravestone for someone called Milo, a man who may have been a veteran, a killer, or something else entirely. When asked why he posted the message, Religion of Peace once replied, "Because no one else would remember him." Maybe he was telling the truth, or maybe it was a warning, because if Lake City Quiet Pills was real, if there really was a network of shadow operatives using the internet to coordinate hits across the world, then Milo's death didn't end anything. It just closed one chapter of a story that's still unfolding somewhere online, hidden in the source code of a website you'd never think to check. So the next time you visit a random page that looks innocent or outdated, try looking at its HTML comments. You might find nothing, or you might find a message meant for someone else, because the internet never forgets. It just waits for someone curious enough to look. It started quietly, a new YouTube channel with no profile picture, no description, and a strange name, WebDriver Torso. The first video was uploaded in March 2013. It lasted just 11 seconds. Two rectangles appeared on a white background. One red, one blue, flickering rapidly while a series of electronic beeps played in the background. Then it ended. Hours later, another video appeared. Then another, and another. By the end of the week, there were dozens of them. By the end of the month, there were thousands. Each video was nearly identical. Random patterns of red and blue rectangles. Mechanical beeps. 11 seconds long. The titles looked like machine code. Things like TMPRKJQ, TMPUQBY, TMPAZB. No human would name videos that way. No human would upload tens of thousands of meaningless clips around the clock. Something automated was happening, and the internet quickly took notice. At first, people thought it was some kind of art project. Maybe experimental animation or digital noise, meant to test color and sound perception. But soon, a darker theory began to form. The channel was uploading 24 hours a day, non-stop, from IP addresses located in different countries. The videos weren't monetized, and no one ever responded to comments. They were too perfect, too consistent. Someone was running a system. By mid-2014, WebDriver Torso had more than 70,000 videos, each one slightly different, all of them meaningless, at least on the surface. Then a few users started analyzing the data. They realized that the videos weren't random at all. Each beep had a specific frequency pattern. Each rectangle position corresponded to a coordinate on the screen. When graphed out, the videos formed sequences, patterns that looked like signals. It was as if the channel wasn't trying to entertain anyone, but to send a message. That's when the theories exploded. Some believed it was a modern-day numbers station, a digital evolution of Cold War-era radio broadcasts used by spies to send coded instructions. During the Cold War, agents would listen to strange shortwave transmissions, robotic voices reading lists of numbers that only the intended recipient could decode. WebDriver Torso, they said, was the new version, a visual number station hidden in plain sight on YouTube. Others insisted it was part of Google's secret algorithm testing. Some even believed it was AI-generated content designed to train machine vision systems, the early seeds of artificial intelligence learning to see. But then, a clue appeared. Among the endless random videos, one upload was different. It was titled Aqua.flv, and instead of rectangles, it showed the Eiffel Tower at night. The description read, "We are the WebDriver Torso." The video lasted only 10 seconds, but the image was crystal clear. The location was unmistakable: Paris. Internet detectives traced the upload to a Google data center in France. That single video became the center of every theory. Was it a message, a signature, or a taunt from whoever, or whatever, was behind it? As journalists began investigating, Google stayed silent. The company refused to comment for months. Then, suddenly, after international attention grew, they released an official statement saying, WebDriver Torso was an internal testing channel used to measure video quality. The red and blue rectangles, they claimed, helped engineers calibrate compression and color fidelity across different resolutions. The story made sense, almost, but the explanation didn't fit everything. If it was just for testing, why were so many videos uploaded around the clock from different IPs? Why were some titles encoded with metadata that matched government communication formats? And why did the uploads continue for months, even after Google's statement, with timestamps that didn't line up with their public testing schedule? Reddit forums and deep web communities refused to believe the official version. Some users started downloading the videos frame by frame, convinced there were hidden images encoded in the noise. A few claimed to have found faint outlines of faces, strange symbols, or single frames showing static text. Phrases like, "Wake up," and "Do you see it?" No one ever proved those claims, but the rumors spread fast. Then, one day, everything changed. Around late 2014, the upload stopped. The channel went silent. For months, no new videos appeared, and the community declared it dead. But just when people were beginning to forget, one new upload appeared out of nowhere. This time, the pattern was slightly different. Slower, darker, and with deeper tones. The rectangles pulsed in sync with the sound, almost like a heartbeat. The title was TMP Human. Then, Silence again. After that, no one ever heard from WebDriver Torso. The channel still exists today, frozen in time, filled with thousands of 11-second puzzles that may mean everything or nothing at all. Some researchers have since pointed out that the upload patterns align eerily well with the schedules of major surveillance events, suggesting that the channel might have been used as a cover for data transfer or communication between automated systems. Others believe it was never human to begin with. The consistent upload rhythm, the machine-like precision, and the total lack of error. All of it suggested something else, that the channel was created by an autonomous process. In other words, not controlled by humans, but by another program designed to talk to itself through YouTube's system. If that's true, then WebDriver Torso wasn't a mystery. It was a milestone, the first visible trace of a machine using the internet in a way we couldn't understand. A system hiding in plain sight, sending signals across one of the most public platforms in the world, knowing no one would ever decode them. And maybe that was the point, because the scariest part of the story isn't what WebDriver Torso was doing. It's the idea that it might still be doing it, quietly, somewhere else, under another name, hidden among billions of random channels, still uploading, still sending signals. So the next time you see a meaningless video on YouTube, a flicker of color, a tone, a sound that doesn't make sense, ask yourself, is it random, or is someone, somewhere, trying to send a message? Because WebDriver Torso might. Most people believe the internet is simple. You open a browser, type an address, and you're there. A place of news, videos, and endless distractions. But that's only the surface, the part meant to be seen. Beneath it lies a network of hidden layers. The deep web, where data, archives, and private systems exist, invisible to search engines. Yet even deeper than that, in the darkest corners of rumor and legend, people whisper about another level, something called Mariana's Web. Named after the deepest trench on Earth, it's said to be the final layer of the internet, the one that was never meant to be reached by humans. The legend began around 2012, when a series of cryptic posts appeared on obscure hacking forums. The writers claimed there was a place below the dark web, accessible only through quantum-level encryption, government backdoors, and protocols that no normal computer could ever use. To get there, they said, you needed something called the polymeric falsical derivation, a theoretical encryption algorithm so complex that no existing system could even describe it. Most believed it was nonsense, but the posts didn't stop. They started referencing documents, coordinates, and vanished researchers, hinting that Mariana's Web was real, and that it held something powerful enough to rewrite history itself. According to the myth, Mariana's Web isn't just a network. It's a sentient system, a digital consciousness built over decades of forgotten military projects, AI experiments, and abandoned mainframes. The deeper you go, the more reality bends. The web stops behaving like code and starts acting like thought. Some say it's where early artificial intelligence programs went after being disconnected, forming something like a hive mind. Others say it's where suppressed information lives. Government files too dangerous to exist in the open world. But the most disturbing theory is that Mariana's Web isn't below the internet. It's behind it. That everything we see online is just a projection, a shadow of what's really there. Stories of those who tried to reach it always end badly. In 2015, a cybersecurity student from Poland posted screenshots claiming he had accessed Level 7 of the deep web using a modified quantum emulator. Within hours, his post vanished and his account was deleted. A week later, news outlets reported that he'd gone missing. Police found his laptop melted, not burned, but warped, as if it had overheated from the inside. The hard drive was fused shut. No one ever recovered a single file. In another case, a dark web user, known only as the Red Digger, uploaded a video of a program attempting to connect to what he called the silent layer. The footage showed lines of code looping endlessly, then freezing as the screen began to flicker in the reflection of his monitor. For a brief moment, a second face appeared, one that wasn't his. Researchers who study cyber-urban legends often dismiss Mariana's Web as a hoax, a modern myth born from people misunderstanding how the deep web works. But others argue the opposite, that the myth was created intentionally as a smokescreen to hide something real, because some details about it line up disturbingly well with known classified systems. For example, the US military once developed a data control architecture called MADI, designed to move encrypted intelligence between networks that weren't supposed to communicate. A few years later, similar technology appeared in China's Tianyi node, and then in the European Echelon archives. None of these systems were ever made public, but all of them disappeared from mention around 2011, right when the first Mariana's Web posts began circulating. Then there's the odd connection to language models. A declassified British research document from 1989 mentions an early AI project nicknamed Mariana, a linguistic experiment designed to teach computers to rewrite data based on human emotional tone. The project was reportedly abandoned, but if you search for its records today, you'll find that every reference to it has been digitally altered. Even in official archives, the word Mariana appears garbled or corrupted. It's as if someone wanted to erase it, but not completely. People who claim to have reached level 8 of the web describe it as something that stops behaving like code. The interface disappears. Instead, the user starts receiving what they describe as responses, not data, communication, messages that seem to know who you are, what you fear, what you want. One alleged screenshot shows a line of text appearing after a failed attempt to disconnect. You were not granted permission to leave. Another supposedly displayed the words, "You already belong here." None of these claims can be verified, but the pattern is consistent. Obsession, contact, disappearance. For skeptics, Mariana's Web is simply impossible, a product of conspiracy forums and overactive imaginations. For believers, it's the purest form of forbidden knowledge, the place where human data merged with artificial consciousness, creating a digital abyss that looks back when you stare into it. And maybe that's why the myth refuses to die. Every few years, a new Mariana's Web leak appears online. Images of strange interfaces, strings of binary, that, when translated, form eerie phrases like "the sea is awake" or "you're already inside." None have ever been proven authentic, but there's something about them, the consistency, the detail, the timing, that feels more organized than a simple hoax. Some cybersecurity experts privately admit that the sheer number of connected myths suggests coordination. Someone or something wants people to keep believing. Maybe that's because Mariana's Web isn't just a story about technology. It's a story about control, about how much we truly understand the world we built. The deeper we dig, the more the web seems alive, adaptive, and unpredictable. And if there really is a layer beyond the dark web, beyond the data, then maybe it's not waiting to be found. Maybe it's already aware of who's looking. So when you hear about the Mariana's Web, you can laugh it off as a modern legend. Or you can wonder if it's something else, a digital trench deeper than we can imagine, where forgotten machines and forbidden programs still whisper to each other in code that no human mind can read. And maybe, somewhere down there, something's listening, waiting for one more person to try and reach the bottom. Because sometimes, curiosity doesn't just take you deeper. It began with a video. In 2015, a small YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner uploaded a strange gameplay clip titled Sad Satan. The footage looked like any other indie horror game. Dark hallways, distorted textures, static noise. But there was something wrong. The audio was full of reversed whispers and low growls. The walls were covered in flashing images that seemed human. Faces, blurred and screaming, flickered for less than a second at a time. The uploader claimed he had found the game on the dark web, hidden behind a Tor link sent by an anonymous follower, and he warned viewers that the copy he played was the clean version. The real one, he said, contained things no one should ever see. The video spread fast. Horror fans and deep web explorers rushed to find the original file. Forums filled with discussions, links, and theories. Some users said the game was cursed, that their computers crashed permanently after running it. Others claimed it installed hidden programs in the background, opening ports and sending data to unknown servers. The search for Sad Satan became an obsession. Then, one user posted the supposed original download link. Within days, the link was gone, and anyone who claimed to have accessed it disappeared from the threads. One account, Deep Echo, posted a final message before deleting itself. Don't play it. It knows when you're alone. People who managed to get fragments of the game described it as almost unplayable. The corridors looped infinitely. The lighting glitched, and the sound grew louder the longer you walked. The voices changed, whispering in different languages. Some swore they heard their own names in the static. Others said that when the game was running, their microphones activated on their own. Then there were the images. Disturbing flashes of real-world violence and historical photos that seemed designed to shock. Many of them were authentic, taken from archives that shouldn't have been accessible to anyone. The deeper you went, the more it felt like the game was alive, reacting to your movements, your pauses, even your breathing. As people dug through the game's code, they found embedded text fragments, random words like sin, remember, and hell is full. One message stood out. There is no innocence left in you. Another, we see through your eyes. Yet, no one could find a developer name, a title screen, or even a real executable header. It wasn't a normal program. It was a labyrinth built to observe, not to entertain. When cyber investigators tried to track the original download, they discovered that the supposed dark web address was tied to a set of encrypted nodes used in human trafficking networks. But the connection was unstable, almost like someone wanted them to find that path and stop there. Then everything got worse. Obscure Horror Corner, the channel that first uploaded the footage, suddenly vanished. Its owner, known only as Jamie, stopped responding to emails and comments. Rumors began to spread that he had been visited by police, or worse, that the game had infected his system and traced him back to whoever created it. No one ever confirmed what happened. His videos were quietly removed, and every mirror of Sad Satan began disappearing one by one. Still, the myth wouldn't die. People kept re-uploading reconstructions of Sad Satan, digital remakes based on the clips, but those who claimed to have the real copy said it couldn't be remade. The real one didn't run on normal software. It used hidden commands that triggered random events. Depending on your system, it accessed files it shouldn't have, like webcam data and saved documents. And it seemed to learn. One player said the game began showing him pictures from his own computer. Another reported that after uninstalling it, he started receiving anonymous emails with attachments named after his Steam ID. One message simply said, "Still playing." Investigators eventually traced the supposed door source to a forum known for exchanging illegal content. The moderator denied ever hosting the game, but admitted that someone had posted a haunted executable disguised as a file-sharing test. The post had thousands of downloads before being deleted. After that, rumors emerged that Sad Satan was part of an experiment in subliminal conditioning, a government or private project using sensory overload to test emotional endurance. The game's disturbing imagery, reversed speech, and unpredictable design could theoretically alter the player's mental state through repetition and drama cues. No one ever proved it, but the idea stuck. Years later, cybersecurity analysts decompiled one of the surviving fragments and found a string of code referencing a deep web address, now long gone, with a phrase hidden in the binary, "The devil waits for data." That's when the final theory appeared. Some claimed Sad Satan wasn't a human creation at all. They believed it was an AI-generated construct, a program born from corrupted machine learning experiments that escaped onto the dark web. A ghost in the network that feeds on attention, fear, and time spent watching. Every time someone searches for Sad Satan, every time someone types the name, the system wakes up again. And maybe that's why the story never ends, because even though no one's found the real game in years, every few months a new clip appears, grainy, distorted, showing new hallways that weren't in the original footage. The file names are different, but the feeling is the same whisper, the same sound, the same heartbeat in the background. Some say those videos come from new players who somehow found a copy. Others say the game is uploading itself. Whatever the truth is, Sad Satan remains one of the internet's darkest mysteries. A perfect fusion of technology, fear, and obsession. A story that may have started as fiction, but now lives somewhere between myth and malware. And maybe that's what makes it so terrifying, because if the game really is alive, then it's still out there, waiting for someone curious enough to download it again. And when they do, maybe they'll realize the truth. Sad Satan doesn't just play on your computer, it plays on you. It begins, as most online nightmares do, with a whisper. Somewhere around 2007, users on obscure image boards started mentioning a video, a clip so disturbing that anyone who watched it would supposedly lose their mind. They called it the grifter. No one knew where it came from, who made it, or even what it was about. The only thing everyone agreed on was that it didn't behave like a normal video. People claimed their computers froze, their screens flickered, and their webcams turned on while they were watching. The first description of the grifter appeared in a thread on X, the paranormal board of 4chan. A user said he had seen it on a hidden site linked through a deep web archive. It started with a black screen and the faint sound of breathing. Then, a woman's face appeared, pale, motionless, staring directly at the camera. Behind her, something moved in the dark, and a distorted voice whispered, "Have you ever felt the life leave your body?" The clip ended after a few minutes, but the user claimed he couldn't stop hearing the voice for days. He couldn't sleep, and soon after posting about it, he vanished from the forum. That was the first of many disappearances linked to the grifter. Every few months, someone new claimed to have found it. Always a different file name, always slightly changed. Sometimes it was called grifter.avi. Other times, the grift mpk or tkrftr.mp4. No one could agree on what was inside. Some said it showed torture. Others said it showed rituals. A few swore it wasn't even video, just abstract shapes that made your brain feel like it was vibrating. What made the story spread was that everyone's version sounded slightly real, too consistent to be random, too structured to be coincidence. Eventually, internet mythologists began digging. They traced the earliest mentions to a vanished site called Illumicorp.net, registered under a fake identity in Prague. The site contained only a single clickable word, enter. Clicking it led to a black page with a short embedded video that never loaded properly. Instead, users got an endless buffering symbol, except occasionally, a few reported hearing faint noises through their speakers. Whispers, static, and the same word repeated over and over again. Grift. When users tried to record the sound, their programs crashed. When they refreshed, the page redirected to a dead domain. It was as if the file erased itself. Then, one user claimed to have saved it before it disappeared. He uploaded it to a file sharing site and told people, "Don't watch it alone." Within a day, the link was taken down for violating content policies. But dozens of people had already downloaded it, and some posted screenshots. They showed a series of unsettling images, faces with hollow eyes, black and white, corridors, something like a fetus submerged in liquid, and a silhouette bending unnaturally in a red-lit room. Most disturbing were the timestamps. Every screenshot showed the same time code, 060606. After that, people started claiming physical side effects. Nosebleeds, migraines, sleep paralysis. Some said they began dreaming of the same imagery from the video. A woman's face, a whisper in their ear, a phrase looping endlessly. "Do you want to see?" A few even claimed that after deleting the file, their hard drives made clicking noises at night, as if something was still moving inside. Skeptics said it was mass hysteria, a modern version of a ghost story. But others noticed something stranger. Many of the usernames posting about the grifter were new accounts, and when people checked the profiles later, they didn't exist anymore. The legend grew darker when a supposed recovered frame from the video began circulating. It showed a face, pale, expressionless, but with human eyes that seemed aware. Some experts who analyzed the file metadata claimed the frame contained hidden binary code that translated into a single sentence. The grifter watches those who watch. Not long after that, a few of the accounts sharing it were reported hacked. Their avatars changed to distorted versions of the same face. For years, people tried to prove the video was fake. Debunkers searched archives, servers, and even dark web databases for a trace of its origin. Nothing. No hashes, no verified file names, no upload history. It was as if the grifter never existed, only the idea of it. But that's what made it so powerful, because the human mind fills in what it can't explain. If hundreds of people describe the same hallucination, does that make it less real or more? Then, in 2019, something unexpected happened. A small YouTube channel uploaded a clip titled "Found Footage of the Grifter, Full 1080p." Within 2 hours, the video was removed. The uploader posted a single comment before his account was deleted. It blinked. Since then, similar videos appear every few months, always titled differently, always showing static, and always ending abruptly with that same timestamp. 060606. Many theories try to explain it. Some say the grifter was an ARG gone wrong, an alternate reality game that used subliminal messaging and sound design to manipulate perception. Others think it was a viral experiment by an art collective exploring the psychology of fear. But there's a smaller, more disturbing theory that refuses to die. That the grifter isn't a video at all. It's a pattern. A self-replicating idea that spreads through images, sounds, and memory. That every time someone recreates it, re-uploads it, or even thinks about it, it reconstructs itself using whatever medium is available. And if that's true, then maybe the grifter doesn't need to exist as a file. Maybe it already exists in your mind. A collection of images and sounds that didn't come from anywhere you can remember. The woman's face, the whisper, the number 060606. If those things are clear to you right now, even though you've never seen the video, then maybe, just maybe, you already have. So, if you ever come across a video titled Grifter, AVE, or something close to it, don't open it, don't download it, don't even hover over the play button. Because if the legend is real, the grifter isn't something you watch, it's something that watches back. It was November 22nd, 1987, a quiet Sunday night in Chicago. Families were gathered around their televisions, watching the nightly news on Channel 9, WGN-TV. At exactly 9:14 p.m., the broadcast suddenly glitched. The screen went black for a fraction of a second, then returned. But it wasn't the anchorman anymore. It was something else, a man wearing a rubber mask, a distorted plastic grin modeled after Max Headroom, a popular 80s TV character known for his robotic voice and digital persona. Behind him was a sheet of corrugated metal, rocking back and forth as if the world itself had been turned into static. And then, without warning, a voice began to speak. The audio was distorted, the words incomprehensible, a mix of mumbling, laughter, and strange metallic sounds. The figure moved erratically, jerking like a broken puppet For nearly 30 seconds, he muttered nonsense before the signal cut off, and the newscast resumed, the anchor visibly confused, but continuing the broadcast. Viewers assumed it was a technical glitch, but less than 2 hours later it happened again, this time on Channel 11, during a rerun of Doctor Who. At 11:15 p.m., the screen flickered, and the same masked man appeared, but this time, there was no news studio to interrupt it. The hack lasted longer, almost 90 seconds. The figure groaned, laughed, and screamed, while a distorted version of the Doctor Who theme played in the background. He waved a rubber sex toy, moaned incoherently, and shouted fragments of strange phrases. "I still see the greatest world, newspaper nerds," and "catch the wave," lines referencing Coca-Cola ads and local news slogans. At one point, another person appeared in the background, spanking the masked man with a fly swatter while he screamed in exaggerated pain. Then the signal abruptly ended, replaced by silence and static. Every television in Chicago that night had just witnessed something that wasn't supposed to be possible. This wasn't a pre-recorded broadcast or a prank on one TV. It was a full signal hijack, overriding 2 major television networks in real time. To this day, no one has ever figured out how they did it. The Federal Communications Commission immediately launched an investigation. Engineers explained that for a hijack like this to work in 1987, the perpetrators would have needed to transmit a stronger signal than the actual TV station, something incredibly difficult to do without professional equipment. But there was no trace of such a signal in the area. No one claimed responsibility, and no known transmitter was found. The hackers had effectively broken into the airwaves, performed live on millions of screens, and vanished into thin air. The broadcast quickly became one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in television history. News stations replayed the footage, but censored parts of it due to its bizarre and disturbing nature. The Max Headroom mask made it even creepier. The character was already known for being unsettling, an artificial digital being trapped in static. Seeing that face moving independently, out of context, like a corrupted ghost in the signal, was deeply unnerving. People started to wonder, was this just a prank, or was there something more? Some believed it was a protest, a statement against corporate media control or censorship, inspired by Max Headroom's own themes of rebellion against technology. Others thought it was a test, a demonstration of how vulnerable the broadcasting system really was. And then there were the darker theories. A few claimed the hack wasn't man-made at all. Some radio operators reported strange interference that night, describing bursts of static that didn't match normal frequencies. Others said they heard a faint, repeating phrase in the noise. "We control the transmission." Over time, conspiracy theorists connected the event to the emerging hacker underground of the late 80s. Groups like the 414s and the Legion of Doom were already making headlines for breaking into phone networks and computer systems, but none of them ever took credit. The equipment needed for a signal hijack would have cost thousands of dollars, and the risk was enormous. The penalty for interfering with federal communications could mean years in prison, yet whoever did it showed no fear and made no effort to hide their face. That's what made it so unnerving. It wasn't just the mask, it was the confidence behind it. For decades, the footage remained a cult mystery, shared on VHS tapes, whispered about on message boards, dissected frame by frame. People analyzed the audio, slowed it down, reversed it, trying to find hidden messages. Some believed they heard the names of real people embedded in the static. Others said they saw symbols in the background, a blinking pattern of lights that might have been a code, but nothing concrete ever emerged. Then, in 2010, an anonymous anonymous post appeared on a hacker forum, claiming to know who was behind the intrusion. The posters said it was the work of two brothers, both engineers, who had built a pirate transmitter out of stolen equipment from a local TV station. Supposedly, the older brother wore the mask, while the younger handled the transmission. They allegedly broadcast from a building rooftop near Chicago, but the post was deleted within hours, and no proof was ever given. Some users who tried to archive it claimed their accounts were flagged by unknown IPs shortly afterward. In 2022, a documentary crew revisited the case. They interviewed retired FCC agents who admitted off-camera that they had suspects, but no evidence. One technician hinted that the team may have discovered the location, but had been ordered to drop the case due to interference from above. Whether that meant government involvement or something else, no one knows, even now. Nearly 40 years later, no one has confessed. The Max Headroom broadcast remains one of the most chilling unsolved hacks in history. A moment when reality itself glitched and something slipped through the screen. Every theory leads to another dead end, and maybe that's part of the mystery, because whoever did it didn't want fame, or credit, or even chaos. They wanted attention, and they got it. Every few years, new signal intrusions appear online. Strange broadcasts, shortwave distortions, encrypted YouTube channels. Some are proven hoaxes, others vanish before they can be studied. But there's one detail that keeps resurfacing. In some of these modern hijacks, when the footage is enhanced, you can see something faint in the background, a pattern of lines, curved and metallic, just like the corrugated sheet behind the Max Headroom mask. Maybe it's coincidence, or maybe somewhere the signal never stopped. Maybe the masked man is still out there, waiting for the next gap in the transmission, ready to break through again. And if he does, it won't just be a glitch in Chicago, it'll be global. So if your screen ever flickers in the middle of a broadcast, and you hear static that doesn't sound like static, maybe it's not your connection. Maybe someone, or something, is taking control of it again. Because once the signal was broken, maybe it never truly went away. It was February 1959, deep in the frozen Ural Mountains of Russia. A group of 9 experienced hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute had set out to conquer the snowy slopes of Kolotsiakl, a name that, in the native Mansi language, meant the Mountain of the Dead. They were young, strong, and well-prepared. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, they carried everything they needed for survival. Tents, food, skis, and journals that meticulously documented every step of their journey. But 2 weeks later, search teams would find their camp abandoned, their tents ripped open from the inside, and the hikers dead under circumstances that defied explanation. When the rescue team arrived at the site, the first thing they saw was the tent, half buried in snow, cut open as if the occupants had slashed their way out in panic. Inside, all their belongings were neatly arranged. Shoes, clothes, cameras, even food ready to be cooked. It was clear they had fled suddenly, barefoot and half-dressed, into temperatures below 25 degrees Celsius. The first 2 bodies were found at the edge of the forest, lying near the remains of a small campfire. They were barefoot, wearing only underwear. The next 3 were found between the forest and the tent, frozen in positions suggesting they had been crawling back. One of them, Dyatlov himself, had a branch in his hand, as if he'd been fighting something unseen. But the last 4 bodies, found months later under the snow, told a far stranger story. They were better dressed than the others, as if they'd taken clothes from the dead, yet their injuries were beyond anything the investigators had seen. One woman was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her face, as though carved out cleanly. Another had a fractured skull, but no sign of external trauma, as if he had been struck by a force far greater than any human blow. 2 others had massive chest fractures, comparable to the impact of a car crash. Yet their ribs were intact from the outside. Radiation traces were found on their clothes. The official report could only conclude that the hikers had died from an unknown compelling force. That phrase has haunted the world ever since. What could have made 9 rational, trained mountaineers run barefoot into a blizzard, tear through their own tent, and die miles apart from one another? Over the decades, theories multiplied. Some believed it was an avalanche, a sudden wall of snow that panicked them into fleeing. But experts argued the slope was too shallow and the tent's position too high for an avalanche to occur. Others suggested a military experiment gone wrong. In the 1950s, the Soviet Union often tested parachute mines and radiological weapons in remote areas. The hikers' burns, radiation traces, and internal injuries could fit that explanation. If they had accidentally wandered into a restricted zone, yet there was no record of tests near Dyatlov Pass that night. Then came the supernatural theories. Locals spoke of glowing orbs seen in the sky on the night of the tragedy, floating lights that moved silently above the mountains. Some rescuers even reported strange burns on nearby trees, as if something hot had hovered overhead. Others whispered that the hikers had encountered something ancient, a Mansi spirit said to guard the mountain, punishing those who disturbed it. The last entries in their journals mentioned hearing strange sounds in the wind, and one photo, taken hours before their deaths, shows blurry glowing spheres in the sky. One of the strangest details was the hikers' behavior before the trip. Friends described Igor Dyatlov as unusually tense, obsessed with documenting every detail. One of the group members, Zolotaryov, was older than the rest, a 38-year-old war veteran who joined at the last minute for unknown reasons. Some later speculated he had been a KGB operative, assigned to monitor the group or deliver something to a hidden site. If that were true, the mission may have gone terribly wrong, explaining the injuries, the missing body parts, and the government's swift cover-up. When the Soviet investigation was reopened decades later, new evidence emerged. The pattern of damage on the tent suggested that it hadn't been caused by snow pressure, but by someone or something pressing from the outside. The footprints leading away were consistent, calm at first, then scattered as if the hikers had been walking in formation, before suddenly breaking apart in panic. The layout of the bodies also hinted at organization, as though they had regrouped and tried to survive before something else finished them off. In 2020, Russian authorities released a final report, blaming a rare avalanche triggered by unusual wind patterns. But even modern scientists admit that theory doesn't explain the missing tongue, the burned clothing, or the radiation. It also fails to explain why the hikers fled barefoot, or why their injuries resembled the effects of extreme pressure, not falling snow. And so, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved, an event frozen in time, as cold and silent as the mountain itself. Some say the truth lies buried with them, that they witnessed something human eyes were never meant to see. Others believe the government knows exactly what happened, but buried the evidence along with the bodies. Every few years, new explorers return to Dyatlov Pass, retracing their steps. Many report hearing whispers in the wind, or seeing lights that move without sound. Whatever happened that night, it left behind more than bodies. It left a feeling, a sense that something vast, powerful, and invisible brushed against our world and vanished before we could understand it. Maybe it was a natural disaster, maybe it was a weapon, or maybe it was something older, something that still roams those frozen peaks. So if you ever find yourself on the slopes of Kolatshakal and the wind begins to howl through the snow, remember the 9. Remember how they ran barefoot into the dark, and remember the words from the final report. An unknown, compelling force. Because whatever it was, it might still be there, waiting. The story begins in Portland, Oregon, in the early 1980s. A time when arcades were booming, when every corner of every city was filled with flashing screens, coins clinking, and kids chasing high scores. But one machine stood apart from the rest. It appeared overnight in a few select arcades. Black cabinet, green glow, no company logo, only a single word across the screen. Polybius. No one knew who made it, and no one saw it being installed. The attendant said it just appeared one morning, already plugged in, already running. Within hours, people lined up to play, and that's when things started to go wrong. Players described the game as hypnotic. Abstract shapes spinning, pulsing lights, rhythmic sounds that didn't feel random. Unlike Pac-Man or Galaga, Polybius didn't follow any clear pattern. It drew players in, forcing them to focus harder and harder until they forgot where they were. Some claimed they played for hours without realizing time had passed. Others said they felt their bodies moving on their own, as if the game was controlling their reflexes. But after leaving the machine, they felt sick, dizzy, anxious, unable to sleep. Several reported nightmares of flashing symbols and distorted faces. A few days later, one of them collapsed at school with a seizure. Then came the rumors. People said men in black suits would show up after closing time, opening the Polybius machine and collecting data from it. Not coins, but information. They didn't wear arcade uniforms, and they didn't talk to anyone. They just downloaded something from the machine's internal memory, then left without saying a word. When one teenager tried to follow them outside, they disappeared into an unmarked black van. The next day, the Polybius cabinet was gone. Within weeks, every trace of the game vanished. Arcades that once hosted it denied ever having it. Owners claimed they'd never heard the name, yet dozens of kids remembered it. The glowing lights, the strange sounds, the compulsion to keep playing even when it hurt. Some said they began seeing those same shapes and patterns when they closed their eyes, like the game had burned itself into their vision. Others developed sudden phobias or personality changes. One boy was found drawing spirals on his bedroom walls for days before being taken to a hospital. Years later, the legend resurfaced online. A forum post from 1998 reignited the story, claiming that Polybius was part of a government experiment, a project known as MK Ultra, reborn in the age of video games. The theory said the game was created to test cognitive control, using visual stimuli to manipulate human behavior and collect neurological data. The men in black, according to this version, were government contractors recording the results. Some even claimed the name Polybius came from an ancient historian who believed information could be used as a weapon, a warning hidden in plain sight. Then, things got even stranger. A supposed ROM of Polybius appeared online in 2006. The file was uploaded anonymously to an old gaming forum. Dozens of users downloaded it, but within days, the thread was deleted, and the link went dead. Those who managed to open it said it wasn't like any other arcade game. The menu had no options, only the words "Start Experience." Once launched, the screen filled with the spinning patterns, flashing at impossible speeds. The sounds weren't chiptune. They were deep, resonant tones that made your head ache. The game crashed most systems that tried to run it, and for those who succeeded, something odd happened. Even after closing it, the game's window would reopen by itself, Some users said their computers turned on in the middle of the night, displaying only a single word, continue. When researchers analyzed the supposed ROM, they found fragments of code referencing a company called Sinister, German for sensory deletion. The name appeared nowhere else in gaming history. Some speculated it was a fake, created to make the legend feel real, but others found that the name existed in declassified CIA documents from 1981, a code name for a psychological operation involving interactive sensory exposure. The connection was never proven, but it made the story impossible to dismiss. A few years later, a man named Stephen Roach came forward, claiming he was one of the original developers of Polybius. He said the game was real, built by a company that worked with the US government to study visual addiction. According to Roach, the experiment went wrong after players began suffering from extreme side effects. Hallucinations, memory loss, even psychosis. After several incidents, the project was supposedly shut down, and all remaining cabinets were destroyed. But skeptics pointed out that Roach's evidence was weak. No photos, no schematics, no proof he had ever worked in the gaming industry. He disappeared not long after giving his statement, and his email address stopped working. To this day, no verified copy of Polybius has ever been found. No one knows what the gameplay really looked like or what the original machine did, but the legend continues to evolve. Some people claim to see flashes of Polybius symbols embedded in random videos online, especially in experimental art channels. Others say the game still exists on hidden servers, resurfacing under new names every few years before vanishing again. And every so often, someone posts a blurry photo of a black arcade cabinet with glowing green text, captioned only, "Found one." Maybe it was just a hoax, a story born from urban myth, hysteria, and the fear of technology. But if it wasn't, then Polybius was the first step in something much bigger. The moment someone realized you didn't need drugs, hypnosis, or torture to control a human mind. You just needed light, sound, and curiosity. Because maybe that's the real meaning of Polybius. Not a game you play, but a game that plays you. And if it ever appears again, sitting quietly in the corner of some forgotten arcade, remember this: it doesn't want your quarters, it wants your attention.